Hello and welcome to another video in the Waterways series. I've been doing a lot of work on canal locks recently because the weather outside is frightful and I'd rather go out and survey the locks myself, but I can't. So I've just been looking at the tagging and been correcting a lot, adding a few tags and also creating wikidata entries for a lot of locks in Ireland, because that makes it easier once Wiki Loves Monuments comes around, when people do take pictures of locks, and please do, to attribute them to the right lock and so on, and put them in the right categories. So I've finished the Barrow navigation. I think I've finished the Grand Canal with all its side arms, but I'm still working on some on the Royal Canal. And from the 35th to the 46th lock, so that's 12 locks left to do. So by the time this video goes out, it'll be finished, at least the Royal Canal, but there might be some more work to do on the Shannon, which I'm really not willing to do. So this is the 35th lock. It's in the townland of, I don't know, well, it's near Ballynacarrigy, whatever. And let's have a look at what you should do on the wiki. So these are all small locks basically. So you go to the section about small locks and it says here, separate the way of the waterway at the two lock gates. So the waterway usually, when it's a canal lock, will be a canal, but it can sometimes also be just a side arm of the river, I think. But never mind that, you have to separate them at these two dots here where the locks are, which I will show you. And then add these tags here, lock equals yes, the lock name, and the waterway equals canal or river, depending on what it is. But as I said, most times it will be a canal. And then the gates of the locks, the lock gates, you use waterway equals lock gate. This is already done for most of the locks in Ireland, if not all of them. So these dots are done, the lock gates, but the in-between bit isn't. And then you can also define the waterway, the area of the waterway. So we're going to do just that. So 35th lock. And we might have to change the name. Unfortunately, there is no nice Bing imagery like we had in Greek Nemana and in Bagnallstown. So I'm going to go back to Esri. So hopefully, I'll turn the data up. Hopefully what you can see is the lock here, it's this V shape. So one is closed and the other one is open. So you kind of have to guess where the gate is. So the gate is at the pointy bit of it. So that's already done and the other one is already placed. And as you can see, the waterway is divided already into these three parts. So two parts are canal, as you can see at the top. And this bit here is also canal, but it is the lock bit, but it hasn't been defined as a lock with lock equals yes. So this is the first thing we're going to do. That's easy enough. I've added that now. And now for the name. Luckily, someone has gone around on a cycling trip along the Royal Canal in 2020 and got my pillory. And I've used that for a lot of the Royal Canal already. So I'm going to go back a little bit because Waterways Ireland has put signs up at the locks to give the name. These names here that you see on the map are probably taken from the British War Office map, where the numbering was a bit different. But you can already see that the lock gates have the name lock 35, but the lock itself has 35th lock, so it's a bit confusing. Anyway, we'll go in here maybe, and see if we can find the sign. It seems to be only on the far side of the canal, which is not great, unless it's further back than I thought. See, there's the girlfriend or wife or whatever, or just friend of the person doing the mapillary. I've seen her in a lot of the imagery. So there's an information sign here which isn't mapped either. But I can't seem to find the name of the lock, which is unfortunate. We'll try the other way around maybe. There she is again, so they went both ways. So if I zoom in here, I won't get it. But you can kind of guess that the first word is longer than the second. So it is lock 35 rather than 35th lock. I'm just going to change it to that, and it's already done. So lock name is lock 35, L-O-C-K 35. And then they usually have the Irish name just below. So I'm going to add that under lock underscore name :GA, and it's lock 35. I don't know what 35 is in Irish, but lock is L-O-C. So that's easy enough. And I can add the sign even, which would be roughly here. I've done that for some of the ones on the Royal Canal, and the tag is man-made sign, and then you can put name lock 35, name GA lock 35, and the direction, the way you read it would be, let's say 90, 125. We'll try. Yeah, I think that'll do. So that's the view shed of the sign. So when you're coming along this path, you could read it. Don't know why there isn't one on this side. Maybe vandalism. But anyway, so we have the name. That's a good start. And then, as described here, you're also supposed to separate the canal water area from the lock water area, which I'm going to do now. So I'm gonna add a node here, and then split by right-clicking on that node and hitting the scissors. So I'm cutting it basically, cutting the line there, and then also roughly here and here. And then I can highlight these two lines here that are now part of a relation Royal Canal, but we want them to be part of the relation of the lock. So I'm just going to hit the bin here that deletes them from the canal, the Royal Canal relation, and I have to create a new relation, and it's a multi-polygon. And I can hit the water preset here and scroll down and define it as a lock, water lock, as described here somewhere. Lock chamber, so that's number 2. It's a slightly darker blue here. So this area, draw a surface area and add natural equals water and water equals lock. It's a bit more complicated when you do it as a relation. And then we have to define the lines both as the outer line of the lock area. And of course that's not the whole area, so we have to finish the area by drawing a V-shaped line here. And it's only a line, it doesn't have any further tags. And go down to the relations, choose the water relation that we've just created and also set it as outer, but it is also the outer line for the Royal Canal relation, which is here, and also define it as outer. So this is now a complete area down here, but there's still a line missing up here. So you see the red highlight, that's the Royal Canal multi-polygon relation. And so we have to do the same up here, draw the V-shaped line, highlight and add to the lock relation, define it as the outer, line, and then also add it to the Royal Canal and also define it as outer. The lines are sometimes a bit thicker when you create that, but if you click on it and click away, that just vanishes. So that's the water areas defined. And then what I've done also, you can also add a log reference, which is just log_ref, and it's 35 because it's the 35th log. What you can also do is add a wikidata entry, and I've created wikidata entries, I think, for most of the logs. I think for all of the logs on the Royal Canal, if they weren't already created. So you just have to be careful when you look for them, that you don't confuse them with any of the other canals, because there's might be a 35th log on another canal in Ireland. I'm not sure. The higher the numbers get, the less likely it is. But this, and that's why it's useful to also have a description, not just the name, log 35, but I put the description there, 35th log on the Royal Canal in Ireland. Sometimes I also put the county there, and then alternative names for it that people might use and that might look for. And I've also added a German definition or description and the Irish name. And it gets defined as a log, part of the Royal Canal, and so on. It has a picture, and so on. But up here, we have the Wikidata item number. So I can just copy that and add Wikidata, paste that here, and that'll add a few things up here as well. So it adds the description and the identifier automatically from Wikidata that I've just shown you. I don't know if there is a Wikipedia article. I haven't really worked on that. I haven't linked those. If there was a Wikipedia article linked here, it would also automatically appear here in this field. What I've also found, or maybe somebody did before me, I can't remember if I did all of that because it's been a couple of days. You find the identifier for the National Inventory of the Architectural Heritage. Down here is this number, and you can copy that as well and add that as ref:/IE:/NIAH and paste that. And if there is a commons category, which there is, it's log 35, Royal Canal. You can also copy that and add that as a Wiki Commons link. So Wikimedia Commons, and because it links to the whole category rather than just one image, you have to start with category : and then paste what you've copied. And if you do know from somewhere the width and the depth of the canal, you can also add that information, but I don't know that, so I can't do that. And if you went along there cycling maybe, or walking, you could also add mooring points. What I've also done for some of them, now I've passed it, oops. I don't know if you can see, there are two blobs here, one there and one there. They're bollards. Not quite sure what their function is. But you can see one here behind the arm of the lock, or whatever it's called, and the other one is there. And because they have a white top, you can spot them on the satellite view. So I've added them as bollards because I don't really know what else to do. So there are two on each side of the lock. I couldn't see any mooring facilities there. There usually are some within the lock, and then in the waiting area before the lock and after the lock. But that's for another video, and I'll use a different lock for that one. So that's quite a bit of information there. Wasn't there an information sign somewhere here? Oh, there's also a live ring here somewhere. And there was... yeah, so there's a bit of a picnic area here, so we can add picnic table and the information board here. And we can even link the mapillary to it. So source mapillary doesn't do it, mapillary, and the mapillary link. So I just click on the little icon with the 2020, right click, copy link, paste that, but you don't need the whole link, you only need the number, so you have to delete everything else. Okay, so somebody has already mapped the picnic table here, but it's in the wrong location, because you see that building here, that's this one in the image, and then there's a tree where they've mapped that picnic table. So we're just going to change that to natural tree. So that's this tree here. Looks like chestnut. I'm not going to put that in because I'm not quite sure which type of chestnut it is. And so that's a map of the greenway. We can also add that information. Westmeath greenway. And the type is a map, and that might change things around a bit. Yeah, upgrade tags. And we could make that actually, because it's the greenway, it could make that part of the relation for the canal, but I think I'm overwhelming you probably already. I'm not sure if there is, the path doesn't actually continue behind the house, does it? No. Doesn't look like it. No, so we're going to delete this because it's wrong. I have to delete it off the relation first. All three of them. And then I can delete the line. It's all a bit off here. Somebody might have used different imagery. Don't want to mess with the townland boundary there. I don't know what happened here. But the whole village is a bit off. Seems to be a public toilet here as well, which is good to know. And somebody has mapped the water tap here. Oh, there's actually more mapillary. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to go into that much detail, actually. I'm not quite sure where the water is, the drinking water. Somebody else can add more details there. I've made a good start. And what I've just done as a summary is added details to lock area, and then I'm using the hashtag waterways. And under the sources, it automatically adds mapillary and street level photos, but I'm also going to add Esri Clarity, which is the satellite imagery. And then I can upload that. There's also a slipway here, which, yeah, it is mapped. I think I did that previously. So this is what it looked like before we started mapping. In this session anyway, because I had done a little bit around this area already. And if I refresh now, you should see this vanish, this bit of the Royal Canal, and there should be a few more details. So there you see the picnic table has vanished from here, and there's a tree now. This bit has vanished. We have the map and the new picnic table, and I don't know if you saw this road move a little bit. And we have the two bollards here. The four bollards here as grey dots. And what I had done here was in Overpass to help me find the ones that are lacking wikidata. I was looking for ways that have the tag lock equals yes, and then I've excluded wikidata with the exclamation mark, which doesn't work on this bit of the Royal Canal, of course, because the locks don't have the lock equals yes tag yet. And so I'm going to have to do that next. So that was a lot of information. Please forgive me. But this is what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, 4 days or so. And it's straining on the eyes. I'd rather go out and look at a river or a canal flowing. But with the weather being the way it is, that's just not an option at the moment. But thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you hopefully, or you shall see me soon, in another video. Slán go fóill.